I'm Sadu Yashwanth. I'm working as young professional too at NBPGR New Delhi. Today, I would like to discuss on a topic, Faba and its current status and the future perspectives. Before going to the topic, let's see what is Faba bean. Faba bean is the potential crop. And what is the potential crop? Potential crops are those crops which are very neglected or very underutilized species by the human beings or animals for feeding or else other purposes. Here, the potential crops are given are the crops which are given with very low priority and which are domesticated at very low level, like to the very region specific, and that too in a limited quantities. We can term it as semi-domesticated. And these are some of the mandate potential crops under All India Coordinated Research Project network of potential crops. Under pseudo cereals, we can see grain amaranth, buckwheat, and grain chinopodium. Under minor cereals, we can see job steer. It is also a millet. Under pulses, we can see rice bean and our crop fava bean, wing bean, adzuki bean. Under vegetables, kankoda, that is piney gourd, and kalingada, it's a citral species. Under oil seeds, you can see perilla, paradise tree, and drumstick for oil seed purpose. And some other crops like jatropha, which is, I think most of you people know, which can be used as fuel, and jojoba, and gyoyol, and chia. These are some of the potential crops which are made mandate by ICAR, ASERP on potential crops. And let's see the advantages of the uses of potential crops. Why potential crops? Because they have greater adaptability. Most of them are not disturbed by the human beings and they are very wild in nature. So they have all the traits which with a greater adaptability, even they can grow under adverse climatic conditions. They are resilient to various stresses. Even under many abiotic and biotic stresses, they can perform very well. In the sense, not up to the mark because they are not developed, but by nature they have a little bit performance, right? For that, they can do very well even under various stresses. And sustainability, they provide many things for our need and for our future generations. And they can provide food security because of rapid urbanization, rapid industrialization, and many other natural catastrophes. We can see very low yield, and we can see our food yields are gone down, our crop yields are gone down. For that, these can be used to provide food security, and they fight hidden hunger, in the sense malnutrition. Because most of these potential crops have high nutritional value with a good amount of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, and many other vitamins and minerals too. They provide cultural identity to the farmers of specific regions or indigenous tribes, where some of these crops can't be seen through not even like some square kilometers together, because they are very highly protected, and it's not other human beings, and they help to manage the climate change. We can see day by day the climate is changing into drastic conditions. Like we lost our temperatures, we lost our water content, water table, everything. So even in these conditions, we require crops which can survive and produce in a good quantity so that we can survive. So they help even under climate changes. They prevent land degradation. Like see, many of the potential crops have a capability as cover crops or else manures. Like pulses crops can be used as manures, and these do not require much economy, like cost of production. They have very low cost of production, so they can be used to prevent land degradation also, and biodiversity loss. We don't know how species are related with each other, right? Like there are many microbes which are related on crops, and many crops which are related on these microbes. Like we require many beneficial microbes for our crops to grow healthy. for our soil to be healthy. So these may depend on these potential crops. They might have some relation, and even these species loss may lead to loss in biodiversity, right? So they prevent the biodiversity loss if we protect our potential crops. Coming to our crop, which is a potential crop, but it's a legume crop, and the botanical name is Faba. And the most common chromosome is 2n is equals to 12, it's a word species. And also there are some species, some rare species with chromosome number 14. And the genome size is very big. It's approximately 13,000 MB, and it belongs to family Fabaceae as it's a legume. And the origin of this crop is Mediterranean region, mostly in the North African and the Arab countries like Turkey, these kind of countries, and also Southwest Asia. There are many other names for faba bean. Some of them are faba bean, broad bean, horse bean, Windsor bean, and tick bean is also a faba bean which have the small seed size. And the local names in India are kala matar, which is black tea, and bakla. It is most commonly known as bakla in many regions of our India. And coming to the production, China tops the production with 60% of global production, and continue followed by Northern Europe, Mediterranean region, and Ethiopia itself, which has this as a traditional crop, and some parts of Central and East Asia and Latin America. In Europe and American region, this is used for livestock feeding actually. And this is the third most important grain legume crop after soybean and peas. And this helps in nitrogen fixation. The nitrogen fixation of this crop is around 130 to 160 kgs per hectare. These can survive even under adverse climatic conditions. The faba bean can tolerate up to minus 20 degrees Celsius, and it also can survive under heat conditions, but not extreme heat conditions. It tries to complete its life cycle as soon as possible whenever there is a rise in temperature. And the protein content of faba bean is very high, which will be discussed in further slides. And this is the nutritional composition in different pulses, and in comparison with faba bean. In faba bean, the protein goes up to 39%. It is the second highest protein in pulses. First is marked by like soybean, which is up to 43% in average, and second is faba bean, which can go up to 39. We have found some lines of faba bean around 35 in India already, and it is recorded more than 40 in other countries actually. And coming to the calcium levels, it's 103. It's not bad, but it's a moderate levels, and it can be further increased by crop improvement, different crop improvement methods. And phosphorus content is 421, so very good. And iron content is 6.7. It's also in moderate to high range. And fat is very low, and energy is also moderate in moderate levels. 341 kilocalories per 100 grams of seed. These are the values per 100 grams of seed. And coming to the package of practices, faba bean can grow even in adverse conditions, but there are some package of practices developed by ICR system, and it is best in hills. In hills, generally in Kharif season, which means the sowing is done in July to August, and in the plains and plateaus, it can be grown in Rabi season. Generally, sowing is done in late October, so from November to December, depends on the climatic conditions. The temperature should not be more than 20 to 25 degrees during sowing. So that's why there is delay in sowing in plains. And the soil pH must be like almost neutral, 6.5 to 7.5. It can be grown in any types of soils, and the seed rate for this faba bean is only like 25 kgs per hectare because of its high seed size. Next, preparation of field. It's normally prepared as in other legumes. Generally, beds are prepared for sowing, and it is shown at the spacing of 45 into 15 centimeters. 45 is from row to row and 15 is from plant to plant. You can go with 10 centimeters based on your availability and your convenience. And irrigation is done after the sowing and can be done once in 20 to 30 days based on soil moisture. And sometimes even you can irrigate the fields only once in like 60 days also based on your soil moisture. Because it grows in low temperature, there is not much loss of soil moisture. So irrigation is done very regularly, like not very frequently. And coming to the manures and fertilizers, initially, like during land preparation, you can apply 25 tons per hectare of FIM and 50 kg of phosphorus and 25 kg of potassium as basal dose. Later of 20 to 25 days, you can apply 25 kg of nitrogen and 25 kg of potassium per hectare. And later on the other doses, you can apply 25 kg of nitrogen after like 40 to 45 based on your crop growth. This is not mandatory, but it depends on your soil type and nutrient content in your soil. And on 45th day of after sowing, earthing up is needed as these plants initially show like weak stems, but later they harden themselves. And generally, whenever the plants start flowering, the top is pinched off because so that the pods does not mature early, like, does not develop early, so that we may have uniform in the later stages. And the yield ranges from 1.2 to 3.5 tons per hectare, but the average yield is only 1.6 ton per hectare because we don't have much domestication in these crops. There is a lot of work to be done in this crop regarding yield also. And these are some of the stages of crop. This is generally the seed stage. The seed depends mostly on tannin content and also some other biochemical traits. These are the seeds of soybean. This is at seedling stage. This is the most common type of flowers soybean in India. And these are the pods. This is the podding stage, and developed pods also can be seen. And these are the nodules can be seen as this is a legume crop which can fix nitrogen. And most common species is rhizobia, even in this crop, rhizobium species. And current status at national level, there are not much like many varieties released. Only two varieties are most popular at national level, like namely Vikrant and Pusa Sumit. But there are some varieties released at regional level or state level by different agriculture research institutes and agriculture colleges. And some of the anti-nutritional factors which are currently research institutes are working on. These have trypsin inhibitors, which prevents the trypsin enzyme, and thereby protein digestion will be impossible and may lead to some health issues. So trypsin inhibitors must be reduced. And presently, we have lines with high tannin content to moderate to high tannin content. Tannin content must be reduced because this affects the human digestion or as well as livestock digestion. And vicin and covicin. There is a term called favism where people with some hereditary condition where they lack G6PD, which is glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme, which whenever they consume foods with high vicin and covicin, with them that might lead to hemolytic anemia, where the red blood cells are destroyed by themselves, which might lead to severe health conditions further. For this, we require the lines with low vicin and covicin content. And phytic acid is also a problematic biochemical trait, where it should not be high in levels. Moderate levels is okay for the human beings. Cyanogens are the favogens are the compounds which are present in falabin wild lines. Nowadays, the work is going on to reduce all these things and improve the nutritional factors, as this is a good source of protein and which can be cultivated at low cost of production. So reducing these traits, reducing these values may lead to crop improvement and can be consumed by most of the people. And currently, this molecular breeding work is done on many stresses, especially biotic stresses like aspartate blight, and chocolate spot is the most common problem seen in hilly regions, mostly in northeastern regions of India. Broom rape and rust are also some other minor biotic stresses which are seen in Faba bean. Levodopa is a good L-dopa or levodopa is a compound which is present in Faba bean. Generally, this is used as medicine for people with Parkinson's disease. Consumption of Faba bean may help them to reduce the consumption of medicine and also improve their health naturally. Presently, work is also going on this character, like increasing the levodopa compositions in Faba bean. And presently at NBPGR headquarters as well as regional stations, mostly in northern regions and northeastern regions of India, we are working on high yielding lines to develop the high yielding lines so that it can be domesticated by most of the farmers for the good yields. And even the price is very good in market. Currently, for pods, this crop can be consumed as pods as well as dry seeds based on the people's interest. For the pods, we can see around like 80 to 100 rupees per kg in Delhi markets. And also like for seeds are very available. They are not available in the market and regular markets. But even if you find them like around 200 per kg because of their unavailability, this can be a good mark for a farmer to grow Faba bean. So improving the yield of this crop can help in improving the farmers' interest in this crop. And we are also working on many abiotic stresses like high temperatures, or like generally we go with late sowing and check how the lines are performing under high temperatures. And also biotic stresses like I told you earlier, chocolate spot. Generally, this work is done in hilly regions of NBPGR regional stations in hilly regions, and many other like nutritional factors like protein content and anti-nutritional factors like low vicin, covicin, low tannin content, and low phytic acid content. We are working on these factors currently. And pod yield, increasing in the yield in a sense, not only the number of pods, but also pod width and length. These are currently we are having the more than like 15 centimeters in length. This is the currently available varieties to the farmers, which are not even like 6 to 7 centimeters in length. And width, they have the width of 8 to 9 mm, where currently we are having lines of like 16.92. This is like these lines can go up to like 19 mm also, but this is the available peak for now. And the future perspectives are it must be made like completely domesticated by the different farmers, so that the in the sense like we have to improve the traits of this plant so that farmers show interest, as well as the nutritional increasing the nutritional values. Then the consumers automatically show interest because it's one of the healthiest potential crops available. More regional varieties because providing in this crop we don't have much national varieties because of this reason. They are grown in Kharif season in hilly regions, and in plains they are grown in Rabi seasons, and they require cool temperatures. Generally, southern parts of India don't have cool temperatures. Even in winters, they don't have less than like 10 to 15 degrees is the coolest times of in the winter season in southern parts of India. But there are some exceptional parts even in South India. That's the reason we don't find this crop in South India. Some parts of Tamil Nadu grow this crop, but still they lack in like domestication. So we require region-specific traits varieties. Next, we require high yielding varieties for more yields and more production, so that the people can, farmers can grow and people can consume. And as I said earlier, we are trying, currently there is a work going on low tannin content, but we can also develop zero tannin contents, lines with zero tannin content, and with very high protein. Actually, if we concentrate on this crop, even this can become the highest protein crop. That is like more than soybean, which is having 43%. And we have to work on low vicin and covicin, as this is a drawback for the people with hereditary condition of deficiency of G6PD, which I said earlier. So we have to work on this also, and we have to work on like traits like already this crop is very hard crop and it can survive in extreme temperature. But we have observed that this crop can't survive under waterlogging conditions. So so in Kharif season in hilly regions, if people face that problem, so they might lose the yield. So we have to work on that also. Currently, we are concentrating, we're trying to concentrate on these, and there's a lot of work to be done, as this is not much domesticated crops. There is a lot of work to be done in crop improvement of the fava bean. And these are some of the variations and differences of crop. These are different like variation in seed, shape, and color. You can see like these are the checked varieties or released varieties, and these are the lines which we are developing currently. And this is the variation in flower color, which correlates with many biochemical traits. So we are also working on this this color of flower and correlation between flower of color and biochemical traits. And these are the variation in leaf shapes, like a round, like broad and round, and like elongated shape and narrow shape. And these are different stages of pods, like pod sizes. You can see the difference. And this is the these are the consumable stage of pods. Even you can eat the outer seed coat as well as the pod coat as vegetable. And further, if you leave it on the plant itself, they mature and the seed gets dried up, and you can use it as pulses or the dried seed. And these are some of the references which I have used. I would like to acknowledge NBPGR headquarters as well as regional stages, and also AICRP, some potential crops for this information. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for an informative presentation. I'll take up the questions from the participants now. In the meantime, can you please stop sharing the screen, sir?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I'll move on to the questions now. The first question is, where is Faba being grown in India?
Where is Faba bean? Mostly in the parts of Bihar, UP, and some parts of UP, and even in the regions surrounding Delhi, we can see this crop mostly. That's what I said. It's very less domesticated or semi-domesticated, and this is not seen in many parts of the country. And even we can see these crops in the hilly regions of Meghalaya, Manipur, these northeastern states, where they grow it as a main crop in Kharif season.
Okay. Why is Faba bean not popular in India all these years?
Yeah, there are many crops. That's what I said. Potential crops are the crops which are neglected by human beings. See, I have to give a fact here. We have around 80,000 edible species globally, but 90% of global population depends on only 30 species, because we are like habituated to only those species. And nowadays we can see people are going like diversified in their eating habits. So that's the reason this crop is not much concentrated these many years. And, we are currently working on it to domesticate it, because it's a wonderful crop actually.
Okay. What exactly does National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources do?
Yeah, there are many things, many divisions in this NBPGR, where like the first and foremost function of this is to protect the germplasm. Germplasm, which is available throughout the country. This is the main place under ICAR where we protect the germplasms and different types of storages like long-term storage, medium-term storage, short-term storage, under very low temperature based on seed type and its performance in low temperatures. And apart from that, we also focus on how to improve the germplasm using the available germplasm, how to improve the crops, and how to develop the new varieties which are beneficial for farmers as well as consumers. Generally, the work by ICR is mostly focused on farmers so that they get benefited.
Okay, I'll move on to the next question.
Yes.
What made you get interested in agriculture related research?
Yes. Generally, when I was younger, I used to like, I'm a very foodie. So I used to think, why don't this have this? Any like when I don't know what is even agriculture, I used to think like this, why this food don't have this taste like that. So later, when I just browsed for that, I found that people work on these these. So I was shocked at that time. But later I understood it's a very common thing in agriculture research. So later, it's also a good career option for me. So I thought it would help me to grow my career as well as like help the people, like for food, like and also farmers for improving their standard of living. So mainly agriculture research focus on farmers and health of the people. So that's the reason. Maybe I don't know exactly, but I think this is my reason.
Okay, thank you very much. We have now completed the round of questions. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I'd like to thank Mr. Sadu Yashwanth for the talk and for answering the questions. I'd like to also thank all the participants in the meeting. This meeting will now be closed.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome, sir.